Dr. Deependra Kumar Jha. I'm Vice Chancellor of Manav Rachana University. Came here, just reached a bit late. Apologies because of the traffic on the road. But Dr. Anbu invited, and I just couldn't refuse. I thought it is an opportunity to meet once again fellow colleagues, industry people, and everyone. I was actually here with L&T, so I can see my former colleague, my friend Febin. And thank you once again for having me here. Before we begin, I think everyone is introduced already, so I'm not going to spend time on that. Before we begin, I would like to give you, not examples, maybe a couple of 2-3 anecdotes. It was some time back. In fact, I was one of the panel that I chaired in Dubai. It was second India-Arab University Presidents Summit. It was in Ajman University in Ajman. One of the students asked me, and it actually remained with me even today, and I'm just trying to say it with all of you. The student said that if all the answers are there in GPT, everything that we ask, it's there in chat GPT or the likes. I mean, it's not only GPT, the AI, the engines, Notebook LM or whatever you call. Why should we go to a university? Why should we come to you? I actually took a pause, and by now I think, you can actually understand. But then one was, I was a bit worried that, this is what the thought process is now among the students. But I just told the student that, look, you can find all the answers there. But who will tell you what are the right questions to ask? What is that you are going to ask to GPT or the likes? So you need to, still it makes sense to go to a place like a university. I took a pause actually, and I leave it to all of you today. You don't need to answer or respond, but then contemplate. Being a leader of a university, and this is my 5th university that I am leading. And I have always felt, some of these things, burning things. The second anecdote that I will tell you, sometime back, one of the students came, and this is also, something that is already available in the market, AI-based answer script correction, application or software that, it's there in the market now. But few students of ours, they came and they said that, a student, I asked them actually, that why have you come up with this? He said, there are a lot of errors that they make, the teachers, and most of the questions that they set are actually based on a pattern, and therefore, AI can actually do a better job. Why spend, teacher's time? Probably teacher can do much better things in this. There is another thing that has come now recently is AI-based mentoring system. Now this is also gaining momentum. In fact, we only presented this along with Google in the QS summit that happened in January and February there in Goa this year. There, it's not about only something that wisdom you will find from AI, but it can actually do it, and many of you are from industry, so you will be knowing. Why I am throwing this thing is something different. I will come to that. So you can actually ask, and you as mentor, the teachers who are also supposed to be guides and mentors to our students, they are actually feeding the way they would mentor, they are feeding their likings and everything there. And so it will be personalized mentoring as if it is your teacher who is actually guiding you, not the general GPT style of mentoring. That's what I am telling you. So those kind of things also are coming. Now these two anecdotes, the third thing I would like to tell you, when the students are on toes, they are thinking their future. Now I actually normally ask my teachers that technology or AI is something that everyone should be using, they say, and we are almost convinced. So it's not about whether or not. I have found most of the teachers are actually stuck to those old days PPTs maximum. The technology means email, PPT, and maybe using some of the, for some of their questions, Chat GPT. That's a normal I am talking. Maybe some of the, teachers are smarter than others. I am from academia. I am telling you this thing that I am stuck with this. Most of the time you will find these things. And then, we have to, now all these three examples are different, but you would see that students are, on the right side probably I would say there. If you go even in our homes, our children, our son, daughters, they are more competent, I would say, technologically. Even a mobile phone, they will tell us, Papa, you don't know how to use this function. Most of the function I would not know. I normally have, the latest phone, but they actually wonder that what do you do with this, except that photography and probably, I don't know what. I don't have any answer. They know technology and trends. But when it comes to universities, we feel that we are the ones, the teachers are the ones who should be actually mentoring them. So very recently, since we are also celebrating some of the top practices, best practices, one of the practices that, out of number of practices that I have initiated, one is called reverse mentoring. So very recently what we have started in our university is it's not that every student is going to mentor every teacher, but it's student mentoring teachers on two things, technology and trends. Because these, I believe that on these two fronts, they are better than us. Of course, we'll have to find out matured students who are respectful. All those things, nitty-gritty, we'll have to find out, but as a concept, and it's not that easy. So we are finding volunteers who are open to be actually mentored by students. So that is one thing that I'm just telling you, that because I always believe that, most of us, if not teachers, at least administrators were, groomed, studied in 20th century, and we are teaching 21st century students who are, Gen Z and the Gen Alpha who will come, and probably from 60 to 70, we will be in the, we means as a teacher fraternity, I'm talking, not me as a person. So I think lots of things are changing. I gave you 3 anecdotes, and with these, I would like to understand, something from my fellow panelists here who would have seen, done, and been through a lot of these kind of practices, and we do justice to the theme of this this event today, that how innovative we are and how are we. So this has actually thrown not only AI I'm talking. How are you going to prepare teachers who have always been like, as I told you already, I don't want to repeat that. So how are we going to, train them? And are those people available? There are international universities also coming to India. They are going to, thanks to this Trump, I think there are many people that's reverse, this thing has also started. So many people have started coming here, so they will, probably there will be a larger pool to actually choose from. But it's a difficult scenario now. How are we going to train the teachers who are there already, or they will become obsolete one day without them realizing that they have lost their relevance? Or how are we going to train them? How are we going to find those, this thing? What kind of leadership style has to be there? It is not traditional one. It's not business as usual. So this is the context that I thought of, setting before I, go to my, questions. So AI is no longer sitting at the edges of the institutions, our institutions. It's moving into the core of how we teach, decide, evaluate, and operate. I have given anecdotes. It is becoming institutional. But here are some deeper concerns. The first concern is, so the real question is whether not, it's not whether we will, adopt AI or not. It is actually evident we will do it. The real question is, can institutions evolve faster than the habits that build them? The habits that build them. We have been habituated in doing something. You go to any place, they will tell you that this is how we have been doing. That's the biggest problem actually in most of the institutions. Not only academia, but I would like to believe that industry normally try to, question things and then, come up with newer trends. But in academia, there will be more people who will tell you that this is how it is done. And that's like, so unlearning is the biggest problem there. So on this context, I would like to, Dr. Ajit is not there today, so the next question would be to Dr. Anbu. The first question to you, how can design thinking build a culture where AI is nurtured, adapted, and not imposed? We believe that, AI is going to be there. And are we going to impose, or there can be a different approach, maybe design thinking or something else? How can we build that kind of institution?
Okay. Thank you. Good morning to the fellow panelists here, and good morning, everyone. So you started with a beautiful anecdote. Right, I am recalling this movie, Speed. Some of us should have seen the movie, right, where there is a situation where the person has got the gun in the head of the hostage and threatened. The police officer is talking to his mentor. What do I do? What do I do? It's in the airport. What do I do? What do I do? And the mentor says, shoot the hostage. And then he's like, what do you mean? I can't shoot the hostage. He said, just shoot the hostage in the knee. So he fires a gun at the knee, the hostage falls down, and suddenly the guy who is threatening us no hostage to hold. So then he teaches him saying, take the hostage out of the equation, you have a better way to solve the problem. So I was recalling that when you said this, right? I'm wondering, if you take the classroom teaching model out of the equation, what will happen? And I think that's where this whole thing is going, in terms of students asking, if GPT can give me better answers, why should I go to the classroom? Yeah, and that's where design thinking comes in. You mentioned design thinking, and you also mentioned culture. And the question that always intrigues us at School of Design Thinking is, how do you define culture? What is culture? To put it simply, at least for us, whatever we tolerate becomes a culture institution. Whatever we tolerate indiscipline, it becomes a culture. We tolerate best outcome, that becomes a best outcome based culture. Right? So whatever we, pre-COVID we tolerated this same thing, the assumption there is no way we can do online classes. Online classes will not be effective. So we do a lot of programs for faculties on design thinking, right? The very question we kept on asking is, why can't you go digital? They say, no, digital will never be effective. It has to be the classroom. Otherwise, like you said, my relevance is lost if I'm not in the classroom and teaching, right? And COVID came and taught us that it's possible. So again, I think we are unfortunately going on the same journey when it comes to AI. That AI is there only as a GPT, that I use it as a glorified Google search, while the students are way ahead. They have moved from GPT to using it as an agent and to really agentic design. We do this AI-based hackathon we completed for 100 students recently. And you are right, the students' thinking process, and no offense meant to the faculties here, is phenomenally higher than what we could even think. And in fact, the faculty mentors who are there were finding it a challenge to keep up to speed with the students when it comes to AI. And which is where, how do we then make that as a culture? One is slowly start, this thing about questioning, we say questioning the assumptions. This is the only way to do this. We keep hearing, this is the best way to do this. There is no other way to do this. These are all, in my opinion, a very good comfort statement, because I want to stay relevant. And AI is going to disrupt that completely. So therefore, what is one best way to help academics adopt AI? We have also gone through, corporate also has gone through a lot of AI journey. We keep hearing somebody adopted AI and 100,000 jobs eliminated. And frankly, we also thought that's what could happen. We are in fintech business at Intellect Design Arena. And we have our own agentic AI product called Purple Fabric Platform. We thought this is going to stop us from increasing headcount and all that. To our surprise, when we brought in the platform, it was 5,000 employees, and now it is 7,000 plus employees. Because we realized that AI is becoming an enabler for our roles. So if we want that adoption to be integrated and seamless, we need to show the faculties how AI is an enabler for your role. It is there to help you do things better. It is there to actually help you show yourself as a hero in this whole game, frankly. You talked about the evaluation, right? Well, one set of faculties, we were asking them, so how do you evaluate? You're teaching 4 classes in 4 different batches in a week, let's say. An assignment of 60 students. That's 240 assignments in a week. How do you evaluate? He said, sir, it's very simple. As long as they submit on time, 100 marks. And we're like, really? If they submit a little late, we reduce. If they don't submit, then we think about it. Then what happens to the feedback? No, we don't have time. And that's where I think AI becomes an enabler. Then we have to show them, okay, some of you, I'm sure you are trying it, right? Or attempting or using it already. How do they feed it into the AI system and get good feedback, and therefore you start mentoring the students based on how they are performing. And students, on the flip side, when we ask students, we submit assignments, we don't know whatever happens. We get some marks and I don't know why I'm getting certain marks, right? So which is where we started the journey of AI becoming an enabler. And how can it, going back to your question again, Prof, how can we make that the adoption seamless and inside out, is not looking at AI as a tool or a platform for automation. I think that is where we are heading in some places, unfortunately, but can we use AI to reimagine your university, reimagine your institution? Which is where we will start asking those questions. Why are we still continuing certain practices? Why should this be? Questioning those assumptions, as we say. Then slowly things go into a seamless integration. This is purely based on our experience and what we have seen.
That's fair. I think some of the things you said is very right. I mean, for example, having rubrics like only time and all. I mean, there are a lot of things. In fact, some of the universities, in fact, this is anyway inevitable. So NIT Delhi has recently taken a call that you can use, I mean, a student can use GPT or whatever they want to use in the classroom, I mean, in the exams. Now, not only in classroom, but even in exam. Classroom, anyway, they are using it. Now, the point is, it comes on teachers actually. How are we going to enable ourselves? How are we going to ask right questions first? In order to first, I mean, let alone, teaching them first. First, we need to know, and therefore, having, as they call it, in this parlance, prompts. How are we going to understand this thing, better ourselves so that we ask right questions? So, my next question is to Dr. Apoorva. How do leaders build trust in AI? Because you have heard Dr. Anbu saying that, and many of us fear that, if our relevance will be lost or our job will be lost, right? Both are there. So if we are optimistic, we say that our relevance, will be lost, so that we are longer in the system than probably system can take it, or on a pessimistic side that we will lose our job. How can leaders build trust in AI while retaining human judgment in high-stake environments?
Good morning. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for the question, Dr. Jha. So the field of medicine and healthcare is definitely a high-stakes environment because the consequences are almost immediate and quite long-lasting. And nowadays everybody is armed with technology and news, and we hear these stories where patients have sought answers for a certain condition or a problem they've had, and ChatGPT has helped them when multiple doctors and years of running between hospitals have not. Or AI has found something in a radiological report that a doctor has missed. And, so now doctors, the narrative is that doctors may become obsolete because AI is picking up on things that they are not. But if you flip the script and if healthcare is in the hands of AI, a single misdiagnosis, or more commonly what could happen is a false positive, which AI would more likely be to offer, would result in patients having to undergo procedures that are completely not necessary. So as healthcare professionals, we have to be cautious And so if you ask me, how do we increase trust in technology, I would say as an administrator, we start small with a relatively low risk area. I mean, in healthcare, nothing has no risk, but a low risk area. Start with administration. It could be scheduling of appointments. It could be scheduling of surgeries. And more importantly, like Dr. Anbu mentioned, to look at AI as an enabler, because doctors are already burnt out from seeing patients, from procedures, from surgeries, and on top of that they have to deal with a lot of paperwork, filling of health records, discharge summaries. And so we try to incorporate artificial intelligence in these areas. So now healthcare professionals can look at AI as an enabler, as a support system, sort of extending their time. And from there we move on to areas like using artificial intelligence to cross-check radiological reports or pathology reports to pick up on something that the human mind and the human eye cannot. And so that builds a second layer of trust when people see that artificial intelligence is doing what they would do, or sometimes able to do it better. And of course, as a surgeon, in places like robotic surgery, artificial intelligence is not replacing a doctor, but rather it is enhancing a surgeon's skills with robotic precision. So it's a win-win situation. But what we have to be really cognizant at the end of the day is that the final say rests with humans, and that is something we have to be very particular about, because we can't come to a state where a doctor says, I did it or I made this decision because AI told me to do so. So we have to be cognizant that AI is a support system, it's an enabler, but also the final decision rests in the hands of humans. So use this technology to the best of your ability, but also be cognizant of the fact that the final decision rests in the hands of humans, and this is reflected in leadership and how we set our policies and workplace culture.
That's very well said, but I would say only because it's evolving so fast, this AI, and we have started talking about AGI, for example. So far, AI is reinforcing what mankind already knows.
Correct.
And therefore, these answers are valid. I mean, we are entering into an era where they means the agents or say AI, they are going to start thinking, simulating, and probably will come up with something which has not been thought of yet. We are, and our response will be accordingly. I don't see the response
we just have
now,
to keep up, yes.
But we'll have to be on to it. That's
Of
what the
course.
point is.
Yes.
Dr. Srinivasan, I have my next question with you, and you run a very high, large number of students. I mean, the system, I mean, the group of colleges that you lead. From leadership perspective, what must leaders let go of? Leaders have a tendency to actually keep things, if they feel that if I let go something, probably I will lose my relevance or whatever you can imagine. So what leaders must let go of? Control, which is normally the case in many of the organizations. Certainty, because the leader always talks like, this is how it is. Or power, to enable future-ready institutions.
Yeah, this has to be viewed under the umbrella of what's the background with which we need to answer. I look this AI plus world from 4 perspectives. That leads to the answer to the question. First one is a teaching-learning process. So earlier Gurukul system, Guru's brain to teach a student brain directly, direct transfer. Then came the printing press. There's some kind of storage, so whether through this route or that route. Now came the YouTube and virtual teacher. So now there is a teacher is also available to you. To choose which teacher is also available to you. So why should I come to a physical class? So only we need a recognized degree. So if tomorrow industry decides, we don't put that as a criteria for recruitment. We need only these skill sets, then the future of all our institutions, universities will be a serious issue. But still, I feel man being a human, social animal, only knowledge and skill will not only will make them great, socializing and delivering in a team and all those things. To learn that, at least we must have a combination of both. Then coming to technology, now once I was using Clark's table, logarithmic tables when I was in school. Calculator came when I just entered into first year of engineering. Then computers came, computer softwares came. Now AI has come. So every stage we need to adopt, there is no question. So how to adopt and what for we are using and what for we should not use matters. Then coming to mode of delivery, virtual or physical or some combination, still I believe for a socially, ethically good human being to deliver whatever work we need to do or live in a society, we need a social system to educate. So virtual can be an enabler, but still my opinion is to future society has to be responsible and ethical citizen means we need a physical classrooms to run. The limitation is where to use AI, where not to use AI. That is where we need to decide. The challenges are faculty need to change immediately because AI developments 1 year back now is phenomenal. Then they said Gen AI, now agentic AI, now AI agents, now agentic AI. So by 2030 they say they will have a Bloom's taxonomy level 6 creative and decision making capabilities. I think probably our expert can know better. The challenge that brings to us as an academician is the evaluation process. The same tool available to teach, same tool available to learn is available for the students also to use and cheat. So in the AI world, if a student submits something, what is whether the students have understood and submitted or simply used an AI tool and generated and submitted. This is where the real challenge is in the implementation side. So keeping this background in mind, so leadership must be agile and understand the speed with which the technology AI world is changing, how to embrace, both for the teacher and the evaluation system, as well as to what extent we have to permit the students to use. Then coming to culture, this has to be AI embraced. Ethical use should be the culture that we must be inculcate. And control, of course, is minimum governance, maximum freedom. That's what like our central government says. We must have a minimum control. Otherwise, there is a good chances of innovation in n dimensions or n+1 dimensions in the AI world. So if you keep too much control, then within a short span of 1 year, 2 years, our system or our institution, our students will be constrained or outdated when compared to the rest. So we must be more liberal in control, but still, like plagiarism in research papers like this, some minimum controls we must have. So to conclude, now the technology availability has changed from guru to n number of routes. AI is level playing field. The same knowledge level anyone in the world can get. So there is no person with a better brain or a lesser brain. This AI tool helps us to do everything. So in this scenario, it's a transformative technology, how this steam engine and electricity has changed the way in which we live, how the computers have changed, internet have changed the way in which we communicate, mobiles. In a way, it's a major wave, so everything in the society will get affected in a transformative technology. So we as an educationist has to evolve faster. Industry's support is very much essential to make this change. Thank you. Thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you. I think you pointed out some right things, but letting go something, maybe the control, power, whatever that, even leadership. I mean, they should be vulnerable or say agile or whatever word you use. And let's not stick to one idea or one point that this is how it is done. So that's what you very rightly pointed out. The industry, you also pointed out that industry should help in, grooming in this. So we have got someone from industry, and my friend Febin, I would like you to answer my next question. In fact, we worked together earlier, so I understand that we have worked on a lot of things on a skilling part. However, where are the institutions falling short in shaping mindset and culture? So it is beyond skills. Of course, they are all interlinked. So where are the institutions falling short, not just in skills, but for other things, other things like mindset and culture for what we call industry readiness.
Thank you, Dr. Jha. Good morning, everyone. Great to be here. I thank Dr. Anbu for inviting me here. And as Dr. Jha said, a lot of us have worked together and a lot of our partners are here, and it's a wonderful gathering over here that we are able to meet all of you. And thank you for this question. We all talk about skills. And when it comes to industry-academia partnership, skills is a word that's used a lot. And are we really defining it well? Yes. What does the industry need? We come back from that, right? I mean, skills cannot be just created or defined without knowing what the industry really needs. So we are working with some of you, and at EduTech, where Dr. Jha also was there, who created a lot of programs like this because he's from the academia, and when he came into the industry, and we could identify what is required in various domains, right, from construction to IT services to technology, what L&T is known for. So having said that, a lot of talks on AI. I really don't want to get into that, but only one point there is, beyond this noise, can we all really understand and decipher and demystify what exactly this technology is doing. And today it is AI. We don't know what it will be tomorrow. So coming back to that question, while we have to give them technical skills, the fundamentals, in terms of culture, and mindset that you were asking, I think that's very, very important, because I'll again talk as an industry and then again come back to the students. In industry, when someone comes into the industry, the first thing they see is, before even getting into the technical skills, is how are you showcasing your attitude, or how are you open for various things. So 2-3 points that came to my mind on this question. The first is, when you say soft skills, say you're just saying soft skills. Now, what are soft skills? What we find is in academia, there are soft skills is like, okay, some workshops is done, some kind of programs are done. I mean, as sir was also saying, you have to pardon me, it's not anything offense to academia or anything, but in a general sense, when we also go to some of the universities, it is like, we believe that it has to be kind of blended. It cannot be done overnight. So how do we prepare our students to actually see things beyond what is being taught? So in academic world, there is syllabus, there is examinations, there is right answers, there is wrong answers. But when it comes to industry, it is an ambiguous world. You will not have anything perfect, right? You have to take decisions when there is no data, when you don't know what is the real implications, you don't know what's the real scenarios. If there's a great project that we're doing, which all of you must be seeing when we do, whether it's the tallest or the deepest or the largest, biggest, what we call it, L&T. We start that project not knowing a lot of things that may come in the way in the 5 years of that project cycle. So are we teaching our students that? Are we getting them equipped to face it and take decisions, not to be told? I think the culture of you do this and they do that. I think that culture is not what industry wants today. I think some of my colleagues are also here. They keep hearing this, that please don't wait for directions. Can you do something on your own? And that is what is the mindset and cultural thing that I feel also is required. In a nutshell, graduation we are seeing. Graduation is not the end. We should stop thinking that as a university, once you're graduated, you give the graduation to the student, it is done. I think it's only a beginning, and that openness and can I go and solve few things, that kind of attitude we start giving, and with the fundamental skills, I think that's where the students, the youth can take our country very much forward.
It's very rightly pointed out some of the things actually. I mean, one thing like, taking cue from the last word that graduation is only the beginning of things. I mean, in fact, there is already a flag that, Google has its 1/5 of its workforce without a degree actually, I mean, university degree. Doesn't mean that university degree is not relevant or important, but I am saying that it's a skill set and the mindset actually more important. No right answer or wrong answer in actual field, and that's very well said, because now even National Board of Accreditation actually has come up with the new this thing, that complex engineering problem. I mean, because most of the teachers, they themselves don't know what is complex engineering problem, and therefore they have now identified and said it like this: no right or wrong answer, ill-posed problems, all these things are being inculcated now. So even regulators have also started doing, I mean, their bit. Today, Dr. Sahasrabudhe, I don't know, he has not come yet, but he would tell you that a lot of changes that even regulators, or say they are accreditors, not regulators, they are also making it and trying to institutionalize some of the things from the government parlance. And of course, the universities or institutions who are actually progressive, they are actually thinking about this. It's not about, to be able to, talk in English is a communication. That was long, this as a thought process, but now it is no longer valid. So I think very rightly pointed out some of these things. I appreciate Febin. Last question for this round is to Mr. Ishan Kapoor. What is the hardest cultural shift? Since we are talking about culture, that what kind of culture we need to, set, or probably we would like to have. So what is the hardest cultural shift institutions must make? You have heard actually all of us speaking, and some of these things may not be the way you would think probably. And what should they be willing to walk away from? It's very difficult. Normally people say that, you should do this. But now what should they walk away from? Can you be very candid on this?
Yes, sir. Thanks, Dr. Jha. Good morning, everyone. My answer might tie in with a lot of what's been said. I feel one cultural shift that we keep pushing students to realize, and I think that educational institutions should also realize, is that the market is not predictable. Predictability is low. We do not know what roles will be trending 4 years later, 6 years later, what roles we need to change or train students for. So we need to realize that, like you said earlier, that a major challenge is that universities continue to go on the same path. They know the courses that are being taught since decades. They know how students perform. They know how students get placed. But they need to unlearn and realize that it's a world full of ambiguity now. It's very important for students to thrive in that sort of environment where they don't actually know the problem, where they can use technology or live in a position of uncertainty. So universities need to train them for that type of a setup. The same thing won't work again for universities. So universities need to realize that the market is unpredictable, and we need to train students for ambiguity and train them more in a hands-on way where they are presented with situations which are ambiguous, and they're trying to figure out how to overcome those situations. What institutions should let go of first, I think, can be the curriculum that is followed. So I believe that there are institutions where curriculum is not changed, say, in 5 years. We are following the same curriculum because it's been approved and it's a longer process. But we need to realize that now that system used to work before. Now with AI, everything is advancing at a very fast pace. So we need to be agile enough to change that curriculum to current market needs. There were statistics that said that 65% of the roles that exist today did not exist in 2016. I've got friends who've left full-time jobs, gone on to become content creators. There was no such role 10 years ago, doing very well. We were recently hiring for a role called data engineer, which again did not exist 10 years ago, and we've got people coming in at 4x their current CTC. That is how high the demand is. So these are 22-year-olds earning more than probably what we were earning after 12 years of work experience. So all of that we need to realize, and we need to make the syllabus so that it's very agile and keeps changing on a more frequent basis. We've got courses coming out everywhere, every 1 to 2 months, so we need to somehow adopt or do a handshake with them to adopt their best practices. Second would be in terms of teaching. In terms of teaching, we, like a lot of the panelists said, it's more about the classroom experience. It's more about socializing with your peers, learning from your peers, rather than one-directional content. We are at a phase, especially with AI, where there is like an outpour of content for everyone. To the extent that everyone's attention span has reduced so much, it's on very short form of content. So we need to realize that and make teaching more two-directional or more project-based, where we ask students within classrooms to maybe learn, do more of hands-on projects, and then showcase their talent there. And this would also tie into my third point around where the ultimate benchmark of performance of any institution earlier was placements. But now we need to realize that placements is not the end. Like was said, it's more about also how people perform at their job. So if you've got a long-time employer that keeps coming to the same institution year after year, they've got an excess of applications also. They would probably now feel that I've got 4 people in my team from this institution. They've all been doing great for the past 4 years. So I feel this institution is great. So that is what will create that brand value for that institution, rather than an immediate set of students that come in. And a lot of the projects that students had done in classroom would contribute towards this placement criteria. Yeah. One more point that I want to bring about is that with all these quick disruptions, it's very important to have a continuous feedback loop with the industry. Traditional systems were when it was a yearly feedback loop where you realize year on year basis placements that now this skill set is less required. This is what companies are looking for. But if this can be more periodic, maybe monthly, weekly, or somehow we get in a lot of those insights earlier, so that will really help evolve the system for institutions. One example, so Zomato came out of my hostel. It was a senior and we'd been working there. I feel they've pivoted 2-3 times. They started with a different idea just around digitalizing menus, then went out just around a review platform, then went out to become a delivery app, and now is doing amazing. They've thrived in that ambiguity. But what they've done right is they've built a very quick feedback loop, which is in terms of the data points they capture and they're able to analyze effectively. So every time you order, what time of the day you order, what type of food you order, so your notifications, etc., will be very tailored to you. So they've mastered that, and they've mastered their customer because of that. So that's something that we need to do with universities. So maybe we get in live projects on a periodic basis, get feedback from industry for those projects, maybe do internships or have more of those industry talks where when we keep getting that feedback, keep learning, and that then evolving basis that experience. Sort of be a very agile system that's made for students in this domain.
I think one thing I particularly liked it, prepare a student for ambiguous word, ambiguity. Now what we are doing is, if you can just contemplate and take it back, is we are preparing, we understand that it is ambiguous word. No institution can claim that they are preparing their graduates for 30 to 40 years of their active life. Nobody can claim, neither IIT or Stanford or anyone. Now the point is, if everything is ambiguous, how are we going to teach this ambiguity? Is it through our rigid curriculum? I mean, we are also trying to figure out. It's not like questioning others. And, recently we started something called dynamic paradigm, which doesn't have any course, syllabus fixed thing. It comes in the pre-final year. only, something that would have come after the person would have joined, that, newer things that would have come, that becomes a syllabus and it is delivered by industry. So that's one practice that we have recently started, but that's not enough. Critical thinking, design thinking, these things should be inculcated in their habit. But these are all usual suspects, I would say. There are a lot more to be done. Now, round one is over, and I have already got, this flag that we need to finish it in 10 minutes. That came 5 minutes back, actually. But we started at 16 or 17, so I will finish by that time. It's 1 hour. Yeah, I hope that's okay. Some interesting now conversation. Now, first round was, giving your insights. We have heard you. Everyone has heard. Now it's a quick fire round. I don't want this answers. Very clear-cut answer. Dr. Anbu, when does legacy becomes liability? When does legacy? We have a legacy, actually. We keep doing things and we boast ourselves, we take pride in doing things. When does legacy becomes liability?
Very interesting. Okay. Here is a dilemma. If I answer this question, I'm going to become a villain of everybody sitting there.
I'm afraid we don't have much time. It's like quick, your thought.
Right.
When does?
So, when does a legacy become liability? If I'm holding on to the notes that I prepared 10 years ago to teach a subject, I'm still flipping through that notes and teaching a subject today. Right? Basically, what worked for me, what got me here is not going to get me where we want to go. That's where it becomes a liability.
All right. I have next question to Professor Dr. Srinivasan. Are leaders driving change or managing discomfort? Are leaders, these current generation leaders, are driving change as per your experience or expertise, or we are just managing this discomfort?
Yeah, in my opinion, most of the academic leaders in many of the institutions are the second part. What is that?
Managing discomfort?
Managing the discomfort. That's the reality. But my request is that explore some unknown domains and be agile and be proactive. So, for example, I like to thank Anbu to being an executive chairman. Still, I want to be a student and attended. For the entire process of their banking fintech, they put a framework from 100 or 120, and any customer wants some combination of that, they could able to deliver faster. Sorry for letting your business secret, probably that may not be secret. Because discomfort, what's a solution? That's what just 1 second. They put up a beautiful framework design. It can fit into any of the industry change and AI change requirements without much change in the structure. Remove something, add on something. So really, that 2-day workshop has triggered me to think differently to face the fast-changing world. So like that, I request academic leaders to go outside the perspective, try something, learn something new, and try to correlate, then that may result in something innovative. Thanks to Anbu, it's a time for me to thank back. Thank you.
I just wanted to add, not stealing your time. That's exactly what, thanks for sharing that. This is what I'm saying. What do I want to delete from my past, therefore I'll move forward. I think that's exactly what they did out of that workshop. Thank you.
Good. Thank you. Febin, my next question to you is academia industry gap about speed or listening? Is this gap about listening to each other, or it's about speed?
I think it's about listening.
Would you like to elaborate, maybe a sentence or two?
Yeah, listening to what industry wants, and both industry listening to what the academia can do. In the sense that, like what Ishan was saying, right? We do not know the job roles that are going to come up 4 years later. And we are trying to do something with the academia and telling them that we are preparing the students for tomorrow. But the questions asked is the placement, immediate placement? What is the job package? Can you assure placement? Whereas industry or some of us come and say, we want to make them ready, we want to make them employable, we want to make them entrepreneurs, we want to make them thinkers, we want to make them solution providers. So that listening is a request. And similarly, industry also, there are a few things that the industry also has to listen and co-create along with the academic institutions and partners, where it can benefit both the faculty as well as the students.
Interesting. Thank you, Dr. Apoorva. Are we redesigning learning or digitizing outdated models?
Are we redesigning learning or digitizing our?
Outdated models we are just digitizing, or are we, I mean, maybe your own group of institutions or the thing that you see in the environment, are we really redesigning the learning models, you feel? Or we are just digitizing the outdated models?
No, I think we are definitely redesigning our learning models, both in the way we teach and the way our students learn, and in the way they apply what they have learned. I think the mission of every institution now is to definitely redesign their learning models, and that is what we are actively working on.
So you think that we are redesigning, already redesigning, or we should redesign, you said?
No, we are in the process of
You are in the process of.
yeah, we are laying the foundations for what we hope will be the future in terms of incorporating artificial intelligence. And now at RIT, we are part of the National Quantum Mission. And so the projects that our students get to work on and what they learn is definitely redesigning from how learning has been working all of these years.
Okay, thank you. To Mr. Ishan Kapoor, are institutions afraid of AI? My question is, are institutions afraid of AI or of the decisions it forces?
It's a mixer, but I would say they are afraid of the decisions it forces, the change that it will bring about. So change is always tough, and it's also ambiguous in this case. So we, like it was said earlier, that we should not focus on automation through AI. That is one part of the puzzle. We should focus more on improving learning outcomes. That is something that institutions are probably afraid of, or what impact it will bring, and it will be different at different levels. So maybe a faculty lecturer would feel that AI will reduce the value of their knowledge because knowledge is so easily available, or like you said, there's that auto-evaluation solution. So it will reduce their type of workload. But somebody at the top might think that, like it was earlier, that it might take away some control. So I think it's more around what impact AI will bring about that institutions might be afraid of. But one thing I feel is that institutions need to embrace that change. Maybe the same institution now can focus more on personalized learning for each student because everybody in the chain has more bandwidth. Maybe they can run operations to measure KPIs that they did not think could be measured earlier. Maybe like performance 2 years later, because now earlier KPIs are easier to track. So I think that should come in.
Thank you. So this was round 2. I had actually round 3, but I am actually, because of paucity of time, I am not getting into that because I need to close it in next 2 minutes. You have heard us, and we will be here in next few hours if you want clarity on the thoughts. I'm happy that some of these things came. See, everyone wants that, everyone knows and wants that things should change. Who is going to make change? And how are we going to be sure that this is in the right direction? Maybe learning and learning, again learning it, relearning, and be prepared to unlearn a lot of things is the key probably. We can't always say that this is the way it is done. So I think mindset, cultural shift is required. I asked actually some of the questions for a candid answer, but it came, I won't say sugar-coated, but, it came like, a bit ambiguous answer. I wanted, unless we are clear, let's remove this clutter from our mind. It's very close to us. Are we close to it or open to it? Is the point. With this fascinating, panel discussion comes to an end. Thank you, my, fellow panelists, Mr. Ishan Kapoor, Dr. Anbu, Dr. Apoorva, Ms. Febin, and Professor Dr. Srinivasan. Thank you. Have a wonderful time.
That's so wonderful, sir, starting with 3 beautiful anecdotes and ending it with a rapid, rational, insightful thoughts. Please give a big round of applause again. That deserves it.